And I give Draymond Green and Dillon Brooks mad credit for this, Mark. In a sea of meaningless action in the association.
In a world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tonight is going to be, wow.
In a world of meaningless action.
82,
on a Thursday.
82 times 30 divided by 2 tells you how many games there are in the association. That's 1460. Mark.
Oh, no.
It's 730.
No, I know.
There are 730 games in the association.
But you know, fact check.
You're the son of a math teacher.
I know. Don't you dare call me that.
In my head.
Wait a minute.
Son of a math teacher.
Do that again.
82 times 30.
82 times 30.
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2.
Because each game is only played between two teams.
What did you say the answer was?
730.
No, that's not right.
Wait, it is right.
It's not right.
Wait, 82 times 30.
82 times 30 equals
2460.
2460.
So
1230. Divided by 2, 1230.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize to you.
Fact check.
And all the YouTubers.
What are you, a politician?
What's going on here?
Running around out here having a debate or something?
My point is, Mark, in a world.
The jobless rate went down to 0%. No, it didn't. Yeah, it did. I said so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
A lot of games, Mark, and not that many are important. But tonight is one of those important ones. Back to you.
All right.
82 times 30 is 2460, not 1460. Damn it.
Okay, yeah. I get it. And Draymond is helping out a lot with the whole podcast. A lot of you want to weigh in on this. 888-957-9570. That's the question in my head. Are you almost like, if you're Draymond in this situation, are you better off saying nothing? And for those of you who, sometimes I think we speak to everybody as if they're all like us, just staring at social media all day, gathering all of this. Dillon Brooks.
I'm gathering timber, Mark,
are you?
Is what I'm gathering.
Oh,
yeah,
man, I love it when you do that. When you saw what Dillon Brooks said the other day, and just to sort of like give you the brief notes of what it was, I don't like Draymond Green. I don't think he's nearly as talented as he would be, on another team. They like what he does there. He plays some defense, but I don't like the Warriors. And that was kind of the comment. And Dillon is doing his part, ramping up to Grizzlies and Warriors. Draymond waits until podcast day.
Oh, yeah.
24 hours before the game.
Y'all gonna get this podcast.
And he's got bow, like a list.
Bow, chicka bow.
He went through every comment from Dillon Brooks and had a response.
Draymond talks a lot. You talk a lot now. So if you have 4 rings, sure, you talk a lot more. For All-Stars, you probably talk a bit more. Defensive Player of the Year, you for damn sure would talk more. 2 Olympic gold medals, you definitely would be talking, because that would mean you beat Team USA, and we all know how that goes. So
okay, actually don't know if we know how all that goes, but
a decent little resume from Draymond Green.
Okay, so his point is, I talk. I got a reason to talk.
4 rings.
You talk.
DPOY.
You got no reason to talk.
2 Olympic gold medals. And you did a Brian and Palo Alto in there, too. He did a, which I thought was great. But, yeah, Dillon Brooks has no reason to talk.
Got to be better than that, Coach.
Okay, how about all the technical fouls that Draymond gets?
Gets away with a lot, too. What exactly do I get away with? I have 15 texts, 1 less than your dumb ass. Okay, great.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
Great.
Okay, great. All right, check. Nailed it.
Well, I would clap back briefly and say he does get away with a lot. And we're going to play the Fred VanVleet sound going off on the officials a little bit later in the show. Fred's got some good points in terms of the relationship right now between players and refs. Draymond Green could have 71 technical fouls this year. So I do believe he does get away with a lot.
You could call a tech. I feel like Draymond and Dillon Brooks techs are like holding in the NFL.
You could call it on every play.
I could call this on every play.
It's a good point.
Yeah, you're yelling at me all the time. I could do it on every play, but you're not going to. Draymond goes so far as to say Dillon Brooks is the reason that the Grizzlies aren't winning.
His game is cool. If you ever wondered why the Memphis Grizzlies is not ready to compete for a championship, look no further than this idiot right here. They're actually depending on this guy to help them win a championship. And he says his game is cool. Quite frankly, that just shows how little you know about basketball. And yet, you running around talking about a dynasty? The dynasty starts after you, not with you.
Draymond has a point here that I don't even think he was trying to make, because he's just trying to whack Dillon Brooks on both sides of the face all day long. I get that. But that comment to me speaks to the conversation we had earlier in this week about Ja. Like, the Memphis Grizzlies, as I called it that day, they are a bus without a driver.
Yeah.
They are all kinds of talented. I'm not even necessarily talking about Dillon Brooks, but they are talented. They are young. They've got that look, that swagger, all of those things. But you're now watching who they look to for leadership. And I learned this years ago. I mean, covering the Los Angeles Lakers for years, this is something. Go ahead, Spadone. Come on now. Come on. Thank you. So covering the Lakers for years, this is something that Pau Gasol and then even Steve Nash with that Laker team that didn't work. But Pau Gasol used to say this. Like, my job in this locker room is to be the positive leader. Kobe Bryant takes care of the negative leadership. This is what I don't think Memphis has. It feels to me like they've only got negative leadership. All they've got is brash, in your face, and they don't have somebody who actually has the cachet to come in and swing the pendulum in the other direction. Because Draymond is over here screaming at people. That's not the way to lead by itself either, but it works when Steph Curry is on the other side of the court,
right,
or a Klay Thompson, and they can handle you with a little bit more love.
I think it's a little unfair because I think that Steven Adams is that guy, and he's the one who called the team meeting. But here's my point, Mark.
Not good enough, though.
Well, it's not
you
good enough.
You got to be one of the
because,
stars, don't you?
No, you have to have people who want to follow. If you're a leader of an organization, and you could be a great leader, but if the people below you don't want to follow you, then it doesn't matter how good of a leader you are. And that ultimately is, I think, where Memphis is. Steven Adams tries to have a team meeting, calls a team meeting and says, guys, we need to get buttoned up on the road. We don't need to go out as much anymore. We need to focus on the task at hand. And not 2 or 3 days later, Ja Morant is seen waving a gun at a strip club in Denver. So it's not so much that there's a leadership void, although I think there is a bit of a leadership void. Taylor Jenkins is a young coach. He doesn't have the gravitas of a Steve Kerr. But in terms of what you said, positive, negative, the Warriors are the epitome because Steph Curry is maybe the most positive leader ever, and Draymond Green maybe the most negative leader.
Isn't it crazy?
Very effective.
Steph Curry is the most polished sports superstar in the history of ever. Do you ever have that thought where you're just like, God, I hope, can he just please get to the finish line with nothing bad happening? Nobody. No, it feels like Steph doesn't even have a bad day. Like he never barked at a parking ticket. I mean,
through his mouthpiece.
Yes, he did. I love when people use that. Remember
Twice
that time?
Now.
Remember that time
he's a serial mouthpiece thrower.
He furrowed his brow. It was awful, and he should have been suspended, and it was crazy that he wasn't.
I think he's had the most technicals he's had in his career this year.
He's so clean. The resume is so spotless when it comes to this kind of stuff that, you can put a Draymond on the team, have him scream, kick, yell, podcast, technicals, suspensions, kick people in the ha-has, lose championships because of it. You can do all this, and it's all tucked inside the Steph Curry bed, and so it's fluffy, and it's okay.
It's fluffy, too, because you won 4 championships.
Yes.
If Draymond flail kicked Steven Adams and got teabagged by LeBron and you lost that finals and that was it, that was the only chance you had at a finals, we'd think differently about Draymond Green. And that's where people outside this market think differently about Draymond Green than we do. If you don't watch Draymond night in and night out and see the brilliance of Draymond Green when he's actually interested in playing basketball, then you're missing out on it. Because you look at his numbers, and he's averaging a triple single for his career. He's averaging 8, 7, and 5, I believe, for his career.
Really? Is it that low?
It's that low.
Huh.
Numbers-wise, there's no way he's a Hall of Famer. But then you look at the accolades. DPOY, defensive, all first-team defense, 4-time champion, 2-time Olympian. There's no doubt he is a Hall of Famer. But if you don't watch Draymond Green, it's easy to listen to his sound bites and look at his numbers and think differently about him.
8.7, 7.0, and 5.6.
Yeah.
Those are his career averages for points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, triple single.
Yeah.
And the Morning Roasters, and I think it might have been Joe talking about Michael Cooper as a comp. Some people have used Michael Cooper as a comp, and I just looked at his numbers, and they're close in points, but they're lower in rebounds, they're lower in assists because Michael Cooper was a 5-time champ. But the difference is Michael Cooper on those Lakers teams was the fifth, if not the sixth best player at times. And Draymond Green has been, at the worst, the third best player on most of these teams.
We'll take some calls. Also, a couple minutes away, we'll tell you how you can win your way into a Warrior game later this month. But now that I have this page up, do you want to have some fun here for just a second?
Sure.
What do you think Draymond Green's career three-point percentage is? Can you get it? I'll give you 0.7 of a percentage point in either direction.
Man.
So I'm going to give you basically a 1.5 window.
Yeah.
Can you nail it? Dan Dibley, ladies and gentlemen, Draymond Green's three-point percentage career.
It was higher earlier in his career. Then it went down fairly dramatically. It's sustained. He feels to me like he's a 1-3 guy, but I want to say he's slightly better. I'm going to say 34.2%.
Oh, wow. 34.2 is way too high.
Really? So high?
So high. Yeah, that was Bellinger. 31.6. 31.6.
Okay.
The reason it caught my eye, it's barely below what Jordan Poole is shooting from three-point percentage this year.
Yeah.
Barely below. So what are you getting from Jordan Poole this year from three-point range? You're getting Draymond Green plus a tiny bit.
That's not good.
Woof, right? Like that's interesting.
What are the attempts per game for those two players, though?
Well, that's a great point. Attempts per game this year for Draymond,
About 2 threes a game.
1.8,
Yeah.
but for career 2.6.
Yeah.
2.6, which actually that feels high. That feels high. And you got to give me a second to look up Jordan Poole.
Just real quick, what's Draymond's percentage again? You said it was
31.6 for his career.
Yeah, Dillon Brooks this year from 31.9. So Dillon Brooks and Draymond Green, 3-point shootout to the death.
Jordan Poole is at 32.5 so far this year, but
and like 9 attempts a game.
per game is 8.
And that's the problem. Too many threes for Jordan
8 attempts
Poole.
per game. So, Andrew in Pleasanton, you're on with Willard and Dibs. What are you doing, Andrew?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Just dealing with some vet stuff right now, but my take on the Draymond Green situation here is, I think there's a lesson in life that most people should probably utilize more often, self-included, is the thing I should have said was nothing. I don't know if you're familiar with the great cinematic classic Street Fighter, Raul Julia's final performance, where he's given his evil villain monologue and saying, like, for you, that was the most important day of your life. It made you who you are. For me, it was Tuesday. I just feel like Draymond doesn't need to talk to Brooks at all.
Yeah, Andrew, I think you're making a phenomenal point, but it's also something that's just, let's be honest, it's so hard for people. It's so hard for people to what? Not react. Do you want to know what bounces in my head when Andrew says this? I think I've told you this story before. The year that I was blessed with tickets to the Masters.
Oh, hello, friends.
And I'm at Augusta National with our good buddy, Aaron Oberholzer, and he's out there playing. And Vijay Singh caught my eye because this is really, really, thank you. Hello, friends. Vijay Singh.
A former champion.
Yes.
At the Masters.
We're at the par 3, second hole, second hole. Second hole, right? Par 3. Long par 3.
Yeah, it's really long par 3. I believe it is.
Second, third, fourth, something.
I think it's number 2.
Whatever. Anyway.
About 235, slightly downhill.
Really hard hole.
Incredibly hard.
And there is Vijay Singh, and he's got a 5-iron, and he swings, and it's a little right, and it's a little long, and oh my gosh, it just bounced off the cart path, and that ball is, I don't think there are actually cart paths there, but anyway.
Gone.
That ball was gone. It was into the bushes. There's these hedges back.
Oh, they encroach pretty rapidly.
The ball is gone, right? So there goes VJ. Then walk to just kind of goes for a stroll behind the green and then disappears into the hedges. There goes VJ into the bushes. And all you see as a fan, we're just waiting out there. You wait for a minute and two, and all of a sudden, whoop, here comes the ball.
Hand wedge.
Punches it out onto the green. And I think there was maybe a 3-putt after that because it's a huge green. Whatever it was at minimum a double bogey for the great Vijay Singh.
That's the 4th hole, actually.
Okay, there it is.
Flowering crabapple.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what it looked like that he was hitting the ball out of. So he goes in there and he knocks his thing out. It's like a double bogey or a triple bogey, and VJ walks to the next tee, and his caddy's right behind him. And he puts the bag down, and VJ points to the bag, and the caddy goes in and he gets a banana, and he hands it to VJ, and VJ just starts eating it. And this guy I'm with goes, "Did you see that?" I go, "Well, no, what? What are you talking about?" He goes, "That guy just made triple bogey at the Masters, and he pulled out a banana." No reaction.
Right.
No reaction. That's called shot acceptance in golf, but in other worlds of life, like what Andrew's saying, it's just flat out acceptance. I mean, heck, look what our station had happen yesterday,
right,
or whatever. Like, it's very difficult to not react. And someone like Draymond Green is almost like he's got an incentive to react.
Well, his reaction is him not reacting. If he doesn't react, to me, that is more of a dramatic reaction than the dramatic reaction is.
I get it, yeah.
Because that's Draymond Green. And that's why initially when the comments got brought to him and he just laughed and that, you thought, oh, man, that's not like Draymond at all.
Super mature.
Maybe Draymond's changed. He's
turning a corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, you knew he was just waiting for the pod. And the real reaction from Draymond Green will be tonight. And you would imagine he comes out and plays with his hair on fire and plays with that real desire to go out there and whoop that team and get this road victory.
Whoop that team.
Totally.
I'm going to have a mixed vibe if the Warriors go out and win tonight, because and I think you all agree with this. You'll be excited. Memphis triggers us. We want to take down Memphis. That's a good win, even without Ja. The Warriors need wins no matter who they're playing. This is a very, very big game for the Warriors. But there's going to be a piece of you, if they come back from this road trip 1-2, and you're like, really? Like, you beat Memphis, but you couldn't muster the focus to defeat Oklahoma City and a LeBron-less Laker team? You couldn't do that for yourself, not for us, for yourselves. You couldn't do that? That's the maddening part of this particular Warrior team. And I guess maybe, quite frankly, it's the maddening part of the entire Western Conference this year. Nobody can get going anywhere.
Right. Not a lot of momentum. And, even Denver, the best in the West, there's still a lot of doubts about whether or not Memphis is for real or Denver's for real. Memphis, we know, is really fragile. Sacramento,
they're for
soaring.
Real. They're for real.
That's good to hear you say
it's
that.
so cute the way they're winning all their games.
Honestly, though, if you look at the West right now, as opposed to 3 days ago, they look stronger than they certainly did.
Well,
Ja's out for these 4 games.
The Ja injury
Kevin Durant got hurt in warm-ups.
Gosh.
KD, talk about the banana peel. Was that VJ Singh's banana peel he slipped on?
Brother, like I don't know if you all saw this highlight. Like, Kevin Durant hurt himself. This is akin to when you got hurt getting out of bed. He's by himself on a court. He's going to go lay a ball in, and his whole ankle just buckles. He falls to the floor, and he's out for the rest of the regular season. Yeah. Holy smokes. Which, again, by the way, is why I kept saying, we'll see. We'll see. There's so many things that, they got KD, and they got Kyrie, and they're going to meet in the Western Conference. We'll see, because it's really hard to make all that stuff work, and it's hard for everybody to stay healthy at the right time.
That's the thing. I mean, health going into the playoffs. We've talked about this all year for the Warriors. They need to be healthy in April in order to make a run. Well, the same thing is true for all these teams, whether it's Dallas with a suddenly stiff and gimpy Luka Doncic and Kevin Durant now hurt. Anytime that you have any team, if you don't have your full complement, and the NBA playoffs, it's a 2-month grind. It's not like...
Totally.
I mean, the NFL is a grind in its own way. Baseball is a much shorter... It's maybe a month. The NBA run to a championship is 10 weeks, for crying out loud.
A couple of tickets a few weeks from now to the Warriors and Spurs on the table for you. All you got to do to get into the game on March 31st is listen to the 95.7 The Game on the Odyssey app. You can also listen at 957thegame.com. The longer you listen, the more chances you're going to have to win. 1 entry every hour you listen. Every hour you listen, that's another chance to win, all the way up to 8 entries per day. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Download the Odyssey app right now or listen at 957thegame.com. The more you listen, the more likely you end up at Warriors Spurs later this month. Tickets courtesy of the Warriors, as always. If you want to see the Warriors play in action, go to Warriors.com. Hey, Adam in San Jose, what are you doing? Thanks for calling.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Look, Dillon Brooks is the dollar store version of Draymond Green. He is the made-in-China quality of Draymond Green. Draymond lives rent-free in Dillon Brooks' head. Mark my words, Draymond is going to come out with a whole different energy tonight and probably pick up his 16th technical foul, but it's going to definitely be worth it.
Right, like, don't you fit? Thanks, Adam. I mean, I think there's some pretty fair truth to everything you said there. This basketball game feels kind of like, in the NHL, when two teams have beef and they've got their enforcers on the ice right at the start, and some fans will just be like, they're just getting warm in their seats, and you may not have the context of what happens when last time when Ottawa played Anaheim. You have no clue, but you sit down and you're like, all right, there's a hockey. Oh my gosh, they're punching each other in the face.
Immediately.
1 second into the game.
Puck drops, gloves drop.
Exactly.
Let's do this.
It's like, I think is that going to happen tonight with Draymond and Dillon?
I don't think so because.
Tip off?
Well,
pow.
I would be more concerned with a Dillon Brooks flagrant on Steph Curry than I would. That's how Dillon Brooks does it.
I agree.
Dillon Brooks is not coming at Draymond in any direct way. After Clay disrespected Dillon Brooks with him standing over him at half court, and now Draymond absolutely punking him, Dillon Brooks is more apt to go after Steph Curry than he is Draymond Green.
And I think the Grizzlies also know if you lose them both, let's say there's double techs all over the place. If you lose them both, that's advantage Grizzlies. I know Dillon Brooks scores 15 a game. I know, especially with Ja out. I get it. He's not like the worst NBA player ever. We just dislike him the most. But I still think that that's a win for the Grizzlies if Brooks gets himself taken out and gets a warrior like Draymond, or, as you said, if he injures somebody and takes them out, that's a win for the Grizzlies.
No doubt. I think Draymond's too smart to get into a double technical situation with Dillon Brooks. Draymond Green's biggest issue in self-control is the officials. It's not opposing players. Very rarely has he got it. I mean, he's kind of grown out of that. The flail kick to Steven Adams, the teabagging by LeBron, all the rest of it. And that whole LeBron thing is even more hilarious now looking back, considering that they're now best friends.
Right.
Who would have thought in that moment that they'd turn out to be besties?
So what you're saying is in 2028, Draymond Green and Dillon Brooks will be
kumbaya
together. And they'll be playing on the Orlando Magic as their 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see it.
Wearing the same number.